nutrition this time did work 100%. We didn't miss weight like last time.
But what does he have to do, right? Obviously, he is ranked #1.
He's here. You know what I didn't do? We haven't cut him. We're not sideways with him. We don't dislike him.
All right, so Arman Tsarukyan just dropped a bombshell and admitted he actually did miss weight in one of his previous fights. This revelation is making fans finally understand why Dana White was absolutely furious with him. We're talking serious anger from the UFC boss here.
Don't work with the...
Look how he laughs.
Kappa nutrition this time did work 100%. We didn't miss weight like last time.
For weeks now, Arman's been receiving tons of backing from supporters and industry insiders after what seemed like getting completely screwed out of a title shot he rightfully deserved. But that support might be shifting now that this weight-cutting truth has surfaced.
I understand, because it's not just the weight cutting, you know, the fan incident, he headbutted Dan Hooker. Like, there's a lot with Arman that's kind of...
Patty Pimblett laid it out pretty well.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Patty sort of gave me the layup there. But what does he have to do, right? Obviously, he is ranked #1.
He's here. You know what I didn't do? We haven't cut him. We're not sideways with him. We don't dislike him.
I'm sure he's aware of where you feel about it right now as well.
Yeah, well, listen, it is what it is. It's not like I've confronted Arman and, you know, Arman's a man. He knows how this played out. He knows how this all went down behind the scenes. He knows.
Now things are getting really divided, and two distinct sides are emerging. One group genuinely believes Arman accidentally revealed the real story behind all that UFC 311 chaos, like he unintentionally exposed what was really going down backstage. Then there's this other faction of fans and experts who are convinced Arman was just messing around, being sarcastic with reporters, and they still think he should get his title opportunity immediately because he's completely earned it. At the same time, Dana White comes forward stating he has zero problems with Arman Tsarukyan whatsoever, stressing that Tsarukyan is just working his way back toward championship contention the proper way. White mentions that Patty Pimblett already clarified the whole situation correctly to everyone, and he really drives home this point that Arman is still with the UFC, has definitely not been released, and is absolutely not in any kind of trouble with the company. White explains that everyone actually involved in this mess, all the behind-the-scenes people, knows exactly how everything went down and what truly occurred.
We all know. I don't ever talk about this publicly because you guys are like a bunch of f***ing old ladies and you know, anything that you can get clicks on and fucking keep bringing up and all this shit. A lot of man shit happens in this fucking business, and we keep it between us men, and we, you know, it is what it is.
I did enjoy you.
Meanwhile, Dana White revealed that tons of stuff happens backstage in MMA that fans never get wind of. But he explained he can't just share everything with reporters whenever they want answers. His logic actually holds water when you break it down. Dana firmly believes in keeping certain information private, because he's been around long enough to see how the media will definitely twist and sensationalize stories before they reach audiences. He understands the system perfectly. Details get distorted, important context disappears. Headlines become clickbait, and before you know it, the narrative that hits fans is totally different from reality.
I don't know. Now in UFC, have like some interesting situation too with Arman Tsarukyan. He's contender #1, and somebody have some beef with his wife. He asked to some like he asked about like, hey, I'm gonna be fix my deal with my family, with his wife. He go out, they make like new how we call this belt?
Interim belt.
Interim belt. And for the interim belt, fighting the guy from England who have last 3 opponents with like no one of them have win streak like.
PFL champion Usman Nurmagomedov is coming forward with strong backing, saying Arman Tsarukyan absolutely deserves his UFC lightweight title shot and should be considered the clear #1 challenger without any debate. He's making some compelling arguments too, like asking why Ilia Topuria isn't defending his championship right now, citing personal problems as the excuse for delaying everything. From Usman's perspective, the whole scenario has gotten really weird and confusing. You've got the UFC deciding to create an interim belt, which is its own complicated situation. Then they're handing another chance to Paddy, who honestly is coming off what most observers would consider a questionable streak of showings. Meanwhile, Tsarukyan keeps getting passed over repeatedly, despite clearly earning his shot at championship glory. It's like watching someone do everything perfectly and still getting denied the respect they've worked for.
I understand this is good for media, but like when I'm thinking like UFC, the place is where is for now like where is the best fighters in the world fighting each other. It's calling like that, best fighters, not who more popular, not like best fighters. Like, but I don't know what there is happen.
Yeah.
In my opinion, in UFC right now, number one in lightweight division, it's Arman Tsarukyan.
Usman Nurmagomedov is seriously questioning where the UFC is headed right now, and his concerns make sense. He's pointing out that while certain choices the organization makes might be fantastic for media coverage and creating hype and generating clicks, you need to remember the UFC is supposed to be fundamentally about elite fighters facing each other. That's the foundation of everything. He thinks strongly that bookings should be decided mainly on talent and rankings instead of just fame and who can talk the most trash or create the biggest social media moments. He admits openly that he's truly puzzled by what's happening in lightweight right now, like none of it makes logical sense to him. From his perspective, and he doesn't hold back on this, the obvious undisputed top contender in lightweight right now is Arman Tsarukyan. Without question. This shouldn't even be up for discussion.
He's been calling out Ilya. Who would fight? Who would win that fight, you reckon?
Oh, I think there's a reason that Ilya doesn't really want to get in the octagon with him. I think Arman's a problem, and it's everyone in the division is kind of ducking him at the moment. Ilya's taking some time off. And then the other two don't want to fight him. Paddy and Gagey, they both don't want to fight Arman, so now they're fighting each other. So he's kind of just left in the lurch. Maybe I'll get past BSD, and I think I'll be the only guy to put my hand up to run it back with Arman.
Dan Hooker is throwing himself into this debate with some fascinating takes, claiming that Ilia Topuria has very little desire to actually step into the cage with Arman Tsarukyan, and his reasoning comes down to strategy. He's suggesting that Tsarukyan represents a really tough stylistic puzzle, the type of matchup that fighters actively work to dodge, and that he's widely ducked throughout the entire division by several elite contenders. Dan insists it's not just one or two people either, but that several championship-level fighters are purposely avoiding Arman's path, not wanting to risk meeting him. Here's where things get really interesting. Dan hints that Ilya's current long break from competition, all this time away from fighting, actually shows a hesitation to face someone he sees as a serious and dangerous challenge to his belt. Maybe there's more behind the delays than just personal matters.
То, что дали это Гейчи, да, конечно. Не знаю, пусть организация обижается, но сейчас непонятные, все больше непонятных боев для меня. Я не знаю, я думаю, конечно, что Арман должен был драться за пояс. Ну, не знаю, вот сейчас, если Арман, будем честны, Арман сейчас не подерется. Подерется Пимблет с Гейджи, кто бы из них не выиграл, подерутся с Топурией. Это еще год должен Арман выставить. Не знаю, тяжелое, конечно, но у меня тоже было так же в карьере. Я 10 боев провел, чтобы добраться до пояса. 10 победных боев.
Islam Makhachev is adding his voice to this discussion, and he's pretty harsh about how everything is unfolding. Islam felt that Arman Tsarukyan was clearly the correct pick for the next championship fight. There shouldn't have even been any debate about it. But now he's predicting that Tsarukyan is going to have to wait around for this long stretch, just sitting there while whoever wins between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett gets set up to face Ilia Topuria instead. From Islam's angle, and you can detect the annoyance, this situation could realistically push Arman into another complete year on the bench, essentially wasting 12 months of his athletic prime despite already proving his place at the peak through his results. It's like getting penalized for handling business correctly.
What a masterclass.
He looked great. I was so surprised.
When you're going to fight a guy like Merab, like, that is the masterclass. Like,
sure.
You put on a clinic.
I didn't, honestly, like,
I didn't think he was going to be able to do that for 5 rounds. I thought he'd have 1, maybe max 2, and I thought Merab was just going to do what Merab does. I was so wrong.
Bro, his training camp must have been hell.
Had to.
Had to be hell.
Had to.
I mean, he must have done some. I mean, it looked like it. I saw some videos of it. It looked like he was doing some wild strength and conditioning and plyometrics, and he knew what he was in for. That's the thing. If you're going to fight a guy like Merab, it's like, you know what the mountain is. You ready to climb it?
For sure.
And the first time they fought, apparently he had a up right hand.
That's what I heard.
He couldn't grapple with it, and he couldn't throw punches with it. So I rewatched the fight after he said that. I was like, oh, he's barely using it. Like, barely using his right hand.
Made sense, right?
Totally makes sense. And then also psychologically, if you only got one hand, that everything, now you have to think.
You've also got Daniel Cormier stepping up and supporting Arman Tsarukyan strongly, and DC's opinion matters because of his background and expertise. He believes deeply that Arman deserves a legitimate opportunity to compete for the UFC lightweight championship. Like, this shouldn't even be debatable to him. DC sees all these roles that Arman has accepted, like staying ready as the backup fighter for major events, and accepting that Dan Hooker matchup on pretty short notice as honest attempts to rebuild trust with the company and prove he's reliable. But here's DC's main point. He still thinks that Arman has accomplished more than enough to deserve a real title opportunity, and these additional steps shouldn't have been required. Check out what DC explains here, because he gets passionate about it. Arman staying ready as backup, taking the Hooker fight, those are all moves toward rebuilding that trust with the organization to earn his title shot. But DC still thinks that Arman Tsarukyan should be competing for some form of the UFC lightweight title immediately. He recognizes something crucial too. Many people in the MMA world think Arman is possibly the best lightweight on the planet now that Islam has moved up or isn't as busy. DC says he's not necessarily saying he's one of those voices, but there are plenty of respected opinions who think that Arman deserves his title fight immediately. He's earned it through performance. DC continues by noting that Arman's approach is a complete nightmare for every single person that's competing around the belt currently. Stylistically, he creates issues that these other challengers and title holders really have trouble solving.
There was nothing really that really hurt Petr Yan from Merab Dvalishvili. Yeah, he got a couple right hands, but it was nothing that was, that I got stuck by with Peyton Talbot. He stuck to his ground. He stayed in the center, and he fought him there. I think, this says a lot about Petr Yan. He became champion in year 2020. Yeah, he won the belt because I retired, so he won it in 2020. And then to come back, bro, 5 years later and be crowned as champion, bro.
Daniel Cormier even takes it further, saying he views Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria as the perfect fight to book immediately. He's recognizing their obvious tension that's been growing and this competitive animosity they show whenever they mention or discuss each other. DC believes Arman definitely has a real shot to win that bout, but he's also honest about it. Ilia is incredibly talented at his craft. We're discussing championship-level striking and fight intelligence, which creates a booking where both men would be completely tested and pushed to their breaking points. Daniel Cormier explains it this way, and you can sense the enthusiasm in his breakdown. He thinks Arman versus Ilia is the fight to book 100%, and it's partly because of their exchanges and how you can see these fighters genuinely dislike each other. That's not fake drama for marketing purposes. That's authentic competitive hatred. It's simple to promote a compelling battle between these two because it already feels intense and personal before they even agree to terms. There's a genuine possibility Arman can score the victory, DC admits that, but you also need to understand that there's not a fighter alive that Ilia Topuria can't defeat among these elite champions. We're watching today. The man is simply that skilled, and DC loves this type of booking because there's nothing superior to entering a fight knowing that both athletes are going to be truly tested and have their skills completely challenged by each other. That's when you witness the greatest performances.
He was getting pieced up. He had got hit with a couple body shots. His recovery is wild. How he's able to recover off those shots. Real fighters know when you get hit in the liver, clean shot. 90% of you guys drop to a knee, folds. He was making noises, but he was still standing. He had no quitting. He was going all the way to the end. His corner was a little bit weird. When they were telling him that we think you're winning 2-0, 3-0, and then even in the 5th round, they said Petr Yan's supposed to come out hard. I think it should have been Merab coming out hard, but Aljo came out saying that he admitted the same thing where he didn't know what he was watching. Could have been 2-2 or 3-2. He didn't see 4-1. I didn't see 4-1. I definitely thought Peter Yan was winning.
Renato Moicano is also chiming in with serious respect, specifically noting Arman Tsarukyan's ground and pound as potentially being the absolute finest in the entire UFC currently. Moicano understands technique when he sees it. He emphasizes how Arman never wastes energy when he's in top position. Like every single strike has meaning and purpose behind it, Arman maintains perfect positioning, keeping dominance while inflicting damage, and strikes with this clear goal to actually hurt his opponent and end the fight, not just earn points. Moicano notes that this kind of effectiveness and technical skill is actually uncommon in today's sport, even at championship levels. Listen to what Renato Moicano explains about this because it's pure technical respect. Arman's ground and pound is the finest in lightweight and possibly even the finest in the whole UFC when you compare across every weight class. The man doesn't waste elbows or punches. Every strike counts. He's constantly in the best position, always striking with the goal to damage and finish, and you truly don't witness that type of controlled violence often anymore in current MMA.
UFC-მ დამიკავშირდა და მითხრა რომ გთხოვ დაისვენე რამდენი ხანით შენ გინდა შემდეგ ბრძოლობ კამარზე იანთან რევანში დაისვენე რამდენი დროც გინდა აიღე და როცა მზად იქნები დაგვირეკე და სავარაუდოდ მათ უნდათ ბრძოლა გამართონ ზაფხულში მაგრამ მე არ მინდა ზაფხულამდე მოცდა მე აი კიდე გემები გარდა ნაკაწრებისა ამ ბრძოლიდან ნიშნულოვანი ტრავმა არ მიმიღია რა და მოკლედ მე ადრე მაწყობს ბრძოლის დანიშნა და ალბათ რა ვიცი გაზაფხულზე ან აპრილში რა მოკლედ კარგი იქნება თუ დამეშტო არა და შეიძლება ბრძოლა დანიშნოს ზაფხულში.
Switching focus to some other division news, Joe Rogan has shared his thoughts on the Merab Dvalishvili versus Petran rematch, and Joe's describing it as a complete masterclass showing. He observes that facing a competitor with Merab's approach and abilities, and then actually dictating the fight the way Yan did, that demonstrates championship-level execution and preparation. Rogan also provides some crucial background that casual viewers might miss. In their original meeting, the first fight between these two, Yan was actually dealing with a severe hand injury that majorly impacted his performance. That injury restricted both his grappling skills because you need your hands for grip and control, and obviously his capacity to throw strikes with complete power and confidence. So the rematch was really Yan demonstrating what he could accomplish at full strength.
How can he not fight Peter? I feel like.
Nah. I get that.
I feel like there's no doubt that Merab gets that rematch.
I don't think so.
No?
He just got 50, he just 50-45.
Yeah.
Dominating.
Yeah, but he dominated the first.
Henry Cejudo is giving massive props to Petr Yan for regaining the championship 5 complete years after initially capturing it, which when you consider the timeline is absolutely crazy. Henry confesses directly that he never believed a comeback like that was possible, especially after such an extended absence where other competitors emerged and the division changed. Cejudo highlights the particular things that impressed him about Yan's showing, how he weathered everything Merab delivered at him, and Merab throws serious volume, how Yan remained calm under fire, stood his ground right in the middle of the octagon instead of retreating to the fence, and never quit mentally, even when circumstances got difficult. To Henry, watching that display showed Yan's amazing toughness and development as a complete athlete, and it makes his return to title status even more remarkable and surprising than it would have been otherwise. This isn't just claiming a belt, this is taking it back after years away.
Yeah, I mean, if Merab would have won and I go out there and beat Song, it's like I'm not really looking to, get a title shot after that. I would probably need one more. But yeah, I mean, I'm 1-0 against Peter. I did take him down, by the way. They didn't count the takedown. It was a beautiful takedown. I landed at the end of the first round. No one wants to talk about it, but it was a beautiful takedown. Well, yeah, it makes sense. There's a lot of fun fights. Umar versus Peter Yan is, dude, if they make that fight, I'm not mad. That's a fucking sweet fight. I just think I go out there and finish Song. It's me and Peter at the White House. I don't understand what fight could be bigger. Umar and Peter, I think, is a big fight. I think it's a huge fight, but I don't think bigger than me versus Peter rematch for the belt at the White House. I don't think there's a bigger fight to make in the bantamweight division.
Listen to Henry's surprise here, because you can tell this outcome shocked him. I did not think that outcome was realistic, man. The amazement is genuine. At the same time, Bilal Muhammad is praising Merab Dvalishvili for his completely incredible durability and specifically highlighting what occurred after Merab took these brutal liver shots during the bout. Bilal points out that most competitors, and we're discussing professional athletes at championship level, would collapse and basically surrender when they absorb clean liver strikes like that. The agony is supposedly overwhelming. It paralyzes your system, but Merab somehow remains standing, displaying absolutely no surrender in him and battled all the way to the final horn despite the punishment his body had absorbed. That's a different tier of mental and physical toughness that you can't really teach. Meanwhile, Merab Dvalishvili himself is now disclosing that the UFC has actually reached out to him directly, and the company suggested to him that a trilogy bout with Petr Yan for the Bantamweight Championship is next on the agenda. While the UFC is apparently considering a summer date for this contest, somewhere in June or July probably, Merab is stating his preference clearly. He'd rather not wait that long to return. He thinks strongly that a spring booking, possibly in April, would be much better for him. He wants to use the momentum and stay busy rather than sitting inactive for most of the season.
And Tim showed me this morning, he said, they asked, like, Peter, if you would give me a rematch if I beat Song, whatever. And Peter goes, starts laughing. And every time Peter's been asked about me in a rematch, even before this, he's avoided it. I'm not saying Peter Yan's scared of me by any means. But why? He says I'm not deserving or I'm not good enough or whatever. Wouldn't that be a great reason to defend the belt? Wouldn't you want to fight I fought Cheeto. Like, why wouldn't you want... He said Merab and Umar could rematch. There's that. I don't know. Me and Sai, yeah, I gotta go get through Song.
But you've got Sean O'Malley coming in with a totally different forecast, and Sean believes the UFC will definitely not book a third fight between Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan, at least not right away. His logic? Sean notes that Merab was, in his opinion, totally dominated by Yan in that rematch. It wasn't even competitive based on Sean's evaluation, and because of how lopsided the fight was, Sean believes it's doubtful the company will immediately run the matchup back for a third time. The UFC usually doesn't do instant trilogies unless the second fight was disputed or extremely close, and according to Sean, this wasn't that. Your hand was injured. That's the background that's important here. The injury context from the original fight. Sean O'Malley is now arguing that a rematch between himself and Petr Yan would actually be the biggest possible bout in bantamweight right now in terms of importance and appeal. He mentions something that many supporters seem to overlook. He already has a victory over Yan on his resume. That's undeniable. Sean reminds people of something particular that he feels gets often dismissed in conversations about that contest. He even took Yan down during their meeting, which nobody saw coming. Taking down someone with Yan's wrestling background is genuinely impressive. While Sean recognizes that Umar Nurmagomedov versus Petr Yan would be a solid matchup and would be competitive and technical, he maintains it would not match in terms of significance and star power to a championship fight between himself and Yan, especially if it occurred on a massive platform like the Sphere, which would be this enormous promotional event. Sean's really feeling confident about this. O'Malley even goes so far as claiming that he believes Petr Yan is purposely avoiding a rematch with him, which is a bold statement to make. Sean highlights that whenever Yan gets directly questioned by reporters or supporters about the chance of facing O'Malley again, Yan regularly rejects the whole concept by arguing that O'Malley is not worthy of a title shot or even a major fight currently. O'Malley challenges that reasoning hard, suggesting that if Yan really thought Sean wasn't worthy, wouldn't that make it the perfect simple opportunity to defend the championship? If you think I'm unworthy, beat me again and show it. Sean especially references the fact that he already accepted a genuinely dangerous fight against Chito Vera, who's a serious opponent that nobody underestimates, so it's not like he's been ducking competition or choosing simple matchups. No simple assignment there. Fighting Chito is always a real challenge. So that covers everything from today's breakdown discussing all this lightweight and bantamweight division chaos, the Arman situation, the championship picture arguments, and all the various opinions from competitors and experts. Hopefully you've truly enjoyed this analysis and all the different viewpoints we examined from Dana White, the athletes, and the commentators. Make sure to drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments below because we love reading what you think about these matchups and who deserves what opportunity. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging and detailed MMA content covering all the drama, the fights, the call-outs, and everything happening in mixed martial arts.